Welcome to WO50 Podcast, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello, my name is Corrine, and I'm here with my BFF of many years, Eddi, Dr. Eddi Kenny. And today our topic is delay the dis-ease, proactive and preventative practices. Can you say that 3 times? Proactive and preventative practices for healthy living and healthy aging.
PPP.
That was really great. I always learn stuff when I listen to you. We talked about, the cellular level, what's happening, and the food, how it affects us, and meditation and exercise. And what else?
Inflammation. We talked about inflammation and some of the foods that create acidity. And we talked about the accumulation and detoxing.
Because when you eat a cookie, you're accumulating, but you're not necessarily detoxing.
Right. That's why we need the variety of foods, because we accumulate and we detox. And the fruits and veggies are the powerful foods. So we talked a bit about that, and it was fun.
Yeah, we've got some links to share too. We always share different sources that we have. So we hope you enjoy it as much as we did. Hello, Eddi.
Hello, Corinne.
Our hair looks the same today. We look even the more same than we usually do.
Oh my goodness, yes. My daughter curled it today.
Mm-hmm. And I curled my own.
I feel like I should go dancing or something. Yeah. So how was your day?
Oh, my day was so full. It was so full. So I hosted the Feast for the Soul live guided meditation that I will link in our notes today, because it's such a wonderful website, and they do like these live guided meditations from teachers from all over the world. Every year they start in January, and they do 40 days Feast for the Soul. And that's the best way. It is a feast because there's teachers, meditation teachers from all over the world, meditators from all over the world, usually anywhere from 50 to 200 people online live meditating daily. It's at 11 a.m. Pacific time every day, just for 40 days. And then if you can't get to it, you can listen later. And you can also have the access. They've been doing it for 17 years.
Wow.
17
what a gift.
Years. Yeah. So I've been on, now this is my 3rd year in a row that I've been a teacher on it, offering a guided meditation. Guided meditation is like 20, 25 minutes long. And there's all different topics that everybody has. Like the topic I did today was letting go. And it's so nice. Like it's been in the back of my mind and my intentions to like do some recorded guided meditations for years now, because it's one of my talents. I'm good at doing guided meditations and have a good voice for it. And I was talking to Sarah about that afterwards. Somebody commented on how soothing it was. And I'm like, yeah, I said, I wish I had a catalog of guided. And Sarah said, it's not the same when you try to sit in the recording studio and record a live guided meditation, because it's like, and I was saying, it's the energy of all the people on there, and you're just feeling into what it is. And not to say that I couldn't do it, but anyways, it felt good, and it was recorded, and there's a whole surplus of it for people. So I'm going to share it with everybody, because it's so nice to have, because people are so busy in their heads that when they sit down to meditate, that it's like another voice to listen to for meditation, or even to help fall asleep at night.
Yeah. And also, when I send people to guided meditations, they're really particular over the voice that they want to hear.
Me too.
So me too. So some can, just grate on your nerves, and then others are just like, oh, I love that accent, or I love that voice, or yeah, it's very soothing. And yeah, that's great that there's a variety to listen to and pick from. So good on you, girl.
Yeah, thank you. And very honored that they asked me. And then she has it on Spotify too, so you can follow it on. It's not on iTunes, but also I'll put a link to that, because they started doing it on YouTube years ago, live on YouTube. They did it live on Facebook now. It's live on Facebook, so it's available afterwards. And then because YouTube now is adding commercials, like you used to be able to say you don't want commercials in anything you posted, but now they don't let you do that anymore.
Wow.
And so you'll be in the middle of your guided meditation, or our podcast for that matter, and the ad comes on.
Yeah, takes you right out of the moment.
Yeah, we don't even make any of the money off it either.
It's like the cheap version of Netflix. It's right at the good part. And next, you know, this ad. The dun, dun, dun,
Right?
dun.
It's like
Like,
so
what?
irritating.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I will link to it
Yeah.
below, and because meditation is we're always spouting off about it, and it is very preventative for anything you know, in your life. It's good for stress, it's good for preventing and delaying dis-ease, which
That's right, which
uh,
is our topic. That's a good
yeah,
segue.
thanks. You're usually doing the segue. I thought I'd put one in today.
That's good. You beat me to it. Okay. Good on ya. It's true. It's like, you know, I remember years ago when I heard um the ease and the dis-ease.
Yeah.
And I went, oh
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
that's so cool to define it that way. And it sticks. So that's why like delay the dis-ease.
Yeah.
And you know, we want to talk about now preventative measures and things we can put into practice to kind of help with our healthy lifestyle,
So we
right?
can be proactive in our healthy
Yeah.
living and aging as
Yep.
we
It's
well,
longevity. I always tell people I practice longevity and preventative medicine. That's kind of my, specialty with nutrition and lifestyle and different things. So let's talk a little bit about it. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, there's so
And
much to
yeah,
talk about with it.
there
And
is.
just even breaking down that dis-ease, it's like even as you're listening to us right now, and even you and I can do this, it's kind of like the same, the word disease. It's
Hmm.
like it has a very negative connotation to all of us, like disease, like that's diseased or that, you know, it's
Yes.
very, but if you say dis-ease, like not at ease, it's much softer,
Yeah.
doesn't stick to you as much. That's why Eddie and I like it so much, right? The dis-ease
Hmm.
part.
Yeah, I love the words. Like I think if we break the science down a little bit around it, it's like when people think of disease, they think of degenerative diseases,
Yeah.
right? And the heart disease, diabetes, cancer, arthritis, all these things. And then we look at ease, and there still can be disease happening, disease. And I prefer, rather than look at things degenerating, well, why don't we look at things regenerating? So if we put some things into practice, we start then regenerative bodies. We start, instead of degenerating, which means they're breaking down, we, as we get older, have to be really proactive in regenerating cells, making
Mhm.
sure what we're eating has some superpower, and
Mhm.
the movement that we have and the lifestyle that we live, that we're every day putting in some things really into practice, that they become habits, that we can actually then prevent some of these degenerative illnesses or disease, and we can actually start kind of regenerating cells and slowing down the aging process or the disease process.
Mhm. Mhm. I remember years ago, the first time I heard that term was with Deepak Chopra, and
Mm.
how he would also talk about in Ayurveda, which is a ancient system, a health system that's thousands, even older than Chinese medicine. In Ayurveda, according to Ayurveda, that it's like you, well, this isn't according to Ayurveda, but and correct me if I'm ever wrong about any step of this way as I'm saying this, but that every cell in your body is new after about 7 months, like even your bones, your skin, your eyeballs, like there's new cells, there's brand new cells. You have a brand new body about every 7 months, and mostly it's every 30 days. But I think it's your bones that have new cells. So we're basically walking in a brand new body because it's new cells.
There's a hundred trillion cells in the body,
Yeah.
and they're, if you look at it like a factory, there's there always seems to be some rogue cells, I call them. There are ones in there looking for some bad stuff to tear up and get in trouble over. And if we're always really trying to stay on top of that, we just we I even look at things like arthritis, for example. So arthritis is inflammation, right? Because anything that ends in itis, sinusitis, bronchitis, fasciitis, tendinitis, bursitis, sinusitis, right? They're all itises. They're all inflammatory, inflammation.
Mhm.
So if we learn to lower this acidity in the body, then this inflammation can be lowered. So this means that the cells that are kind of gearing up to take a road that's more disease heavy, though it's creating dis-ease in the body, if we put into practice some things to maybe slow this down, then there's more ease in the body. So we have even the volume on pain with arthritis that goes down. So someone could say they're 60 or 70 and they thought they would be suffering with arthritis their whole life. And they go, the pain is less because I've been taking some vitamin D. I've been out walking. I've been doing yoga, doing meditation. I'm eating
Greens,
really good. What's
greens,
that?
right? That's a big one for
Yeah.
me is greens.
Yeah, they're eating really well. The superfoods, greens, they're getting in the fruits and the vegetables and the real beautiful alkalining foods. Like who knew an avocado has a pH of over 15? It's a superfood.
Mhm.
So we start adding in these superfoods, which helps lessen that inflammation. So then we are more than in ease in the body than the disease. And these cells have a chance to regenerate.
Mhm.
And that's what we want. This is why we got to slack off the junk food and the white sugar and the white flour and white processed milk and you know things that really doesn't do a body good a lot of
Because what does
times.
it do at the cellular level, all that stuff?
Well, it's very acidic. It creates inflammation. So it increases inflammation. So there is a body response. It's like having a peanut allergy and eating peanuts or eating gluten or wheat when you're celiac.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
a lot of times people can have intolerances, but a symptom is your body telling you you've got something out of balance in there. If we
Mhm.
got a headache and we take a pill, the headache goes away. But why are you having the headache?
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
It's the same with IBS. What are you eating that maybe we can do an elimination type thing to see, try maybe taking, some white processed foods out and see how that works for you one week, or stop using artificial sugars and soda. Like get soda out of your you know routine as quick as you can.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's lots of little things like people don't have to be overwhelmed by, oh, there's just too much to take on, it's just everything's bad for you.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. You gotta listen to your body and pay attention to the signs, and
And
and then also genetics, right? So we gotta parents give us a blueprint, so we got a little information to go by.
mhm. And Colleen talks about it in baking. It's like when you're baking is chemistry. And so if you want to change a recipe, you can only change one thing at a time so that you know what's actually changed. Because if you change three things, you can't tell what's made the recipe or what bombed on the recipe. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing what you're talking about when you make
Yep.
changes in your diet specifically, or even exercise. It's like change one thing at a time. So not only is
Hmm.
it overwhelming to change too many things at once, and you usually stop after a while, but you also don't know really what's working if you're
That's right.
changing more than one thing at a time.
Yeah. I always say to people, start with the sugar. Start with the sugar piece, the white sugar. And people go, "Oh, I love sugar." Well, everybody loves sugar.
Yeah,
But
of
fruit
course.
fruit is sweet, monk fruit is sweet, stevia is sweet, honey, maple syrup. These are all, coconut sugar, maple sugar. But then we think sugar is aspartame and sucralose and Splenda and all these diet chemicals, right? That's not sugar. These are chemicals.
Mm,
So we stop lying to ourselves that it's okay.
mhm.
If you look at there's tons of chemicals in a soda. If you want to Google it and read them, and there's stuff in there that people use to embalm bodies. Like I don't want to put that in my gut,
Because
and it's
again,
very acidic.
right, that's what I was going to say. So tell what it does, because that we have to have a connection between all these chemicals, and you were just saying it causes acidity.
Yeah, they're very acidic. Soda's very acidic, and people drink it and say you've already got acid reflux or heartburn or belly aches and
Or a ton of
joint pain.
inflammation. Joint pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, joint pain, all that. Well, you're just raising the volume on your acidity level in your body. So
Mm,
we have this acid base pH balance thing going on all the time. And when we feel good and feel healthy, we have that balance in there. You
mm,
know, that pH balance is great.
mhm,
So right away, you look at, you know, the sugar category, the dairy category, and the grains category. Those are the three we want to kind of look at separately and start cleaning them up a little bit.
mhm. Because there are
Start
healthy
using
grains.
there really is. I'm always reading about amazing grains, things they're finding in Africa, and there's sorghum and there's strains of millet and how things are harvested. It's just amazing all the time. You know, some people can do sourdough, it's fermented, and you know, it's these white, enriched, bleached foods that I don't want to eat bleached foods.
It's the packaging, which is
Well,
convenient,
yeah.
but you can have convenience by prepping. I just sent Eddie, one of my favorite girls to follow on YouTube. It's called Rainbow Plant Life, and I'll link to that below. But she just came out with a new app for meal planning. She is vegan. And she was newly vegan a few years ago. She was a lawyer actually, and she started cooking for stress relief.
Mm,
She's Indian. Her parents are from India, but she's definitely very American. And so, anyway, she's a vegan chef. She has this new app, and I love her cooking and the per prep work. Oh my gosh, she spends 45 minutes prepping for the whole week, and then
uh,
and then it takes her literally 20 minutes to cook gourmet meals every single day and she doesn't prep everything, like the stuff that's not going to stay fresh. She preps
mm,
fresh daily, and the stuff that can stay fresh for 6 days, she does that on the meal prep day. So there is a way to organize it. Sometimes it seems so overwhelming for people when this is like one more thing on the to-do list, but it's
yes.
so important because it's the gasoline that's the quality of your fuel. And you
Yeah.
want to be creating energy in your body, not taking
Yeah.
away. If you eat a piece of chocolate cake or a ding dong or a Pillsbury Doughboy, a treat or something like that, it's actually takes more energy from you to digest it than it's giving you energy and calories.
Well, yeah, because you start accumulating toxins right away. And those aren't foods that help you eliminate toxins. You know, the foods like I had a 5-year-old in my office one day and I said, you know, you got to eat fruits and vegetables like they clean up the body. All the other things that you're eating, these guys clean up. He goes, "Oh yeah, they're like the carburetors." I was like, "Yeah, that's what they do." So they go in, they're like Pac-Man, you know, it cleans up. They have enzymes. They have this beautiful, you know, their nature has designed them beautifully for our bodies. Vegetables are, you know, you think about what you get every season. There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
So I always say the deader the food, the deader your energy, the
yeah.
deader you feel. You know, it's like the more living, the more alive. You think of something, if you can pick it off a tree or out of the ground and immediately eat it, you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it. It's
Absolutely.
like that, like Ayurvedic says, it's that vata, that light energy, right? In
Mhm.
those foods. So, and again with proteins, the clean, you know, when we eat clean, if somebody hasn't eaten beans because they rely on animal protein a lot, try changing that up a bit. You know, some people love animal protein, and if that's what your body needs, then that's what it needs. But if you have symptoms and you don't feel well, well, try changing that.
Mhm.
So go more with plant nuts, seeds, you know, vegan cheeses and dairy that's plant based. Like change it up. Give your microbiome something else to operate off of. You
Yeah.
know, this is how we delay the disease. We can hurry up illness by feeding the body some toxic stuff. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying food is the main reason for illness. It's not. But a lot of diabetes is due to people really not knowing how carbs and sugars affect the body.
Mhm.
And there needs to be more education around that, like
Mhm.
really, you
Mhm.
know. And then they're going on, you know, it's in my family, and they're even using like diet and artificial sweeteners. And I'm going, no,
Yeah,
just
it's
watch
so
your
it's
family.
interesting. Our families are always it's they because you're a bum in your own hometown, so your family doesn't necessarily listen to you you know, so I know your family's like that and my family's the same way. I mean, there's some things that they do. You
Yeah.
certainly have some family members that come and see you, but yeah, yeah, that happens. I want to talk about one thing for a second. You said garburator, so
Yeah.
Americans actually don't know what that is.
Oh,
So because every time I say that word, people look at me like I have three eyes. So it's a garbage disposal that grinds. So we call it in America, we call it a garbage disposal, and in Canada, we call
okay.
it a garburator. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Didn't know that,
Okay.
did you? Yeah.
Yes,
And
send us a text or send us an email and tell us.
if you knew that what it was. So I
Yeah.
was watching this Netflix series, docu-series called The Hidden Life of Pets last night. And it's so cute. If you get a chance to see it, is so
Okay.
cute, so uplifting. And they've got there's this girl who owns this dog in Seattle, and she's taught it 90 words. And it says, I love you. I want to walk. And she says in a little bit, and she said, now. Like it's amazing. And they've got cameras on it from science to study how it's doing it. And then they've
Yeah.
got a bunny rabbit that plays basketball and just all these people spend time with their pets and because they're stimulating their brain because they have brains and nervous systems too, they can learn all this stuff. And so anyways, there's this tortoise, giant tortoise, right? And it says that cancer is almost non-existent in giant tortoises. And
Wow.
because giant tortoises, their own cells, their diseased cells explode,
Whoa.
spontaneously explode.
Wow.
And they
Wow.
breathe super slow.
Hmm.
They walk super slow.
Yep.
They're not stressed.
Oh.
Tortoise
They
wins.
have their house on their back.
It's like I feel like we get in habits of eating the food that we like the packaged food that we like, convenience food, and it's very hard to change these habits, especially when we're working or have kids or whatever. It's hard to
Mhm.
change this. And so to me, education is everything. And so learning about how the body works with and what happens when you are not looking after and the slow disease that starts to happen and the signs that happen. That's what I learned that from Deepak years ago, that, you know, headaches and even cramps, every month having really bad cramps with your cycle and stomach acid and all that stuff isn't normal. It's all designs of pre-disease that's starting to happen in the body. Dis-ease is starting to happen in the body. There's always warning signs. I mean,
Yes.
very rarely will somebody just have cancer overnight that they haven't had some kind of warning signs. Usually it's ignored, you know, a lot of the
Or
signs.
it's missed,
No.
or it's missed. And, a lot of people think, no, they don't have to change anything about their lifestyle or their diet or their way of eating. They'll just supplement. And a lot of times, supplements are fine, but the real food is giving you things that no supplement can. I
That's a
mean,
great point.
science can't break down certain foods to a point. There's essence in food, there's nature's byproducts that somehow feed our cellular being. So I truly feel, food is medicine. It's fuel for every cell. It's so important. Like to the food we eat, it's so important. We got to get the real stuff in.
Oh
And
yeah.
and even growing like your own garden or just a few things like in little bins when you can, just what you like to eat, whether it's tomatoes or your own lettuce, like the heavy hitters, the things that really quench your cells, these watery fruits and vegetables, right? They quench the cells. And it's the cells that we're trying to clean up because they leave
Yes.
debris. We have a microbiome that is in there working really hard. We were born with it. We add to it every time we travel, but we got to tend to it. It's like a garden. Stuff's going to overgrow in it if you don't pull the weeds. We have to clear stuff out. We have to drink water. We have to eat real food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get into this in just a little bit, but we also have to monitor the stress in our lives too, because stress is inflammatory.
It totally, well, because cortisol is a stress hormone and cortisol is an aging hormone. It ages us, which kind of makes sense when people go into menopause and postmenopause. If they haven't handled their stress well by then, well, they have more cortisol going on than they do have estrogen, and it's very aging to the skin.
Mhm.
So stress is it causes a lot of imbalances for sure.
And when you're eating junk food, that's causing stress and distress on your system.
Yeah, because we keep accumulating the toxins, right? We're not eliminating them. It's just one day the same thing, from sodas to junk food to fast food. It's the reason fast food's fast food. It's fast and it's out fast. So
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing lingering in there nutrient wise
Mm-hmm.
to kind of add to what your body's needing. It's in and out. So
Mm-hmm.
we can't live on that kind of food.
No, no, they've done, I mean, there's so many shows out
Yeah.
there. Remember there's the show, the guy that ate McDonald's for like
Oh yeah, super size or
size
something, I
me?
think. Yeah.
Yeah, and he
I
just
mean,
got
that was
so sick.
wild.
He got so sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of the wrong fat. When you look at the good fats, olive oil and avocado oil and coconut oil, I mean, they're so beautiful, right? It's like it's amazing. And
Nature.
and then we don't, because most people don't realize vegetable oil is not vegetables.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
it's manufactured. It's a tough oil. Canola oil, margarine,
Safflower I think's bad as well. Yeah.
yeah, these are hydrogenated oils, and body has a hard time breaking them down.
Mm-hmm.
Those processed fats, white flour, white sugar. I mean, I had a patient one day, and I said, "What kind of flour do you use?" And I said, "Because we're going to change that out now. We're going to, with your baking, we need to change the flour to a whole grain." And she goes, "Well, I use, the good kind, And I'm like, "Well, is it bleached or unbleached?" "Oh, I don't know. It's the flour." I said, "When you get home, take a picture." And she sent me the picture. She goes, I've been buying bleached flour and never knew." She said, "I just would buy it because it made the bread whiter." And I'm going, it's not that much whiter. If you've ever painted your house and there's an antique white and a white and a, you know, mystic white and a snow white. And I was like, wow, how
Yeah.
white do you want it? It ain't worth the pain,
Mhm.
in the body.
Have you read much about the mechanics of einkorn flour?
Einkorn?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So, okay, so I've been doing a lot of studying. I bought some. So, I make my yoga bread on Saturdays for the yoga peeps, and I buy Montana, wheat berries that are organic. Wheat berries are just the wheat when it's original. It's like it almost looks like a rice thing.
Mhm.
And then I grind that in the Vitamix and then make my own flour, because what happens when you buy flour in the store, it's reason why it says enriched is because they have to take, there's like 32 or 34 nutrients in regular
Mhm.
flour, and
Yeah.
they have to take out like 12 out of the ingredients, because it will go rancid really quickly. So they take the wheat germ out of it and all the good stuff out of it. So then they put it back in processed form. That's what enriched flour is.
And
So
it says
anyway,
enriched with thiamine and
yeah,
niacin, and here there was in it there to start with your
yeah,
B1s. That's why many people are B deficient.
yes. So I mixed it. I bought this einkorn flour because I've been studying about it, and I mixed it with my own flour. It made the most delicious bread for yoga bread. So einkorn is, and I'll put a link to it. It's Einkorn, and it's an ancient grain, and it's it's not genetically modified at all, which that just means they've modified for bugs and different things. They've cross pollinated different grains. That happens with most seeds. Sometimes it just gets complicated for the body to break down. So regular wheat that's sold these days has about 32 chromosomes in it because it's been crossed so much, whereas einkorn only has 2 chromosomes. And it is very high, naturally high in protein, naturally low in gluten. Not celiac, but most people who are gluten intolerant, who've even not done gluten for 15 years, can change to einkorn and it's not a problem.
Hmm,
So
interesting, isn't it?
yeah. So if I love me, I'm always doing the research. We both are doing research on
I
different
know
things.
it's so great. I mean, I'm celiac, so I love working with almond flour and coconut flour and all the different flavors of cooking and baking and trying things all the time. So, I don't miss out on a scone. It's just made gluten free, dairy free, sugar free.
But a
has
lot of the
fresh
gluten-free
berries.
flours are not healthy. They're all starch. What you
Yeah.
talked about is no, of course, Dr. Eddy does almond flour, coconut flour and stuff. But if you buy like a pre-made
Yeah,
gluten-free
it has
packet,
potato starch and
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
tapioca starch, and it's all
tapioca.
starches
Yeah.
to it. So I'll
Yep.
make gluten-free bread for people sometimes at Ivy House, but I look at even Pamela's is a great brand. It's
Yeah.
delicious, but it's all starches.
Yeah, it's high, which means it's high carbs, and carbs convert to sugars, and that's why people go, they think if they go gluten free, they can lose weight, and that that no, that doesn't happen
Well,
because
yeah.
it's still acidic. Like a lot of the grains are acidic, so we got to. That's the whole point with food is we want to get in things like hemp hearts, and hemp hearts are real beautiful omega, and it's a superfood, and it's got 10 grams of protein in a serving, and it's gluten free and plant based. And I mean, it's a superfood. I sprinkle it in salads, but it's an amazing anti inflammatory food. Turmeric, ginger, just amazing berries, all our dark chocolate, all our leafy greens, our
Mhm.
dark greens, chlorophyll, chlorella, spinach, kale.
Mhm.
There's a big list. Yeah.
Yeah, so that and I love that line that you always say. I think it's very easier to digest and to remember is that when you're eating, you want to be, what do you say, accumulating or
Detoxing. You're
detoxing. So you don't want to be constantly accumulating toxins. You want to be detoxing. And a lot of, if you eat chocolate cake or a ding dong or a Jolly Rancher, you're not detoxing, you're accumulating. And then you eat Doritos, and then you have, white sandwich bread, with the deli meats on it, and that's more
Yep.
toxins. And that shows up as inflammation and weight
Yep.
gain and fatigue, and then
Hmm.
headaches and digestive issues. All of these things are not the normal. It's not how you're supposed to be living. You're supposed to be, yes, you can get the odd headache and the odd indigestion, but you shouldn't be living and taking a big bottle of buying the Costco sized Tums, because that's telling.
Rolaids. Yeah.
Yes.
Rolaids and Tums. Yeah. Because all this is accumulating, and it puts stress on the body. The body still has to eliminate, the fall off of all this stuff. It's got to go somewhere. Right. So, what are you juicing up on? What is it that you're, taking in? And what is it that you're wanting to put out? So, if you're a runner or an athlete, or, you've got a time schedule you're on, and you're eating and drinking coffee to fuel what? That's what we want to look at, is what is it that you're feeding? Are you feeding the beast? Are we accumulating, or are we cleansing? So if we're I like the 70-30 rule of you're doing it mostly right 70% of the time. And then there's 30% you're on vacation, cruises, there's family parties, gatherings, weddings.
You want to be flexible or else you won't stick to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not deprivation. It,
Yeah.
it boils down to awareness around what you're eating. So, am I eating this because it's actually giving my body assistance? And as we get older, we need to do more of that, because when we're younger, we have very forgiving bodies. As we get older, we have to do the extra. We
Oh
got to
my gosh.
go the extra.
So much. It's like what I could do. I used to be able to eat Chinese food at 3 a.m. in the morning after a gig and not gain a pound and feel bounce out of bed in the morning when I was in my 20s
Oh, yeah.
and even
But
in my 30s.
yeah, and that happens like not only with food, but with exercise as well, like paying attention to, if you're pushing the time limit on, how much you're skiing or bicycling or running or even pickleball. you know, I can play that every single day, but I got to give my hands a rest. And because if I want to play guitar and I want to do some yoga, there's a balance with all of it.
Yeah.
Same with food. It's a balance. You got to find your own balance.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
it
then,
happens with awareness. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, be aware. And then the other aspects. So we've got the food, what you're putting in your body. We've got the exercise, your expending energy and helping your body with stress. And then there's the emotional stress with, that we can I mean, it all creates inflammation, but meditation or some sort of mindfulness,
Yes,
doing that is absolutely disease preventative and proactive that's a proactive practice.
absolutely. To quieten the mind, that's the mind, body, spirit reset, right? It's that to quieten, soften, let the
And
dust
you're
settle.
more aware. Like when you're meditating, you're more aware. Actually, I remember when I first started meditating in my 20s, I started eating healthy within the first month. I couldn't believe it because I was more mindful. I wasn't mindlessly grabbing things.
Hmm.
In fact, I remember Deepak used to say, when you start meditating, you don't have to quit your habits, they quit you, because you
Yeah,
just become more aware of how something makes you feel.
yeah.
And so I loved that part of it. It helped me be more aware with food and
Mm.
more aware with boundaries and friendships, and just more intuitive in my life. It helped so many things.
Yes, I always say to my peeps when they come in the office, okay, the first step here is we have to work on making you feel good. Okay, getting that good feeling back, the motivation, the energy, because the better you feel, the better you eat, the more consistent you are. And
Mm.
the worse you feel, the worse you eat, and the easier it is to say, maybe later.
Yeah,
So,
so true.
yeah.
So true. You think about
Mhm.
it when that's why it's so famous for when you're emotionally upset to eat like a bucket of ice cream or something, because we go to the things that aren't healthy. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate that when we're kind of spiraling down in sympathetic nervous system, we're in fight flight, the things that we're drawn to are the opposite of what we really need to do. What we're drawn to is like maybe alcohol or going out to a bar or eating junk food, or laying on the couch instead of getting out and seeing people and exercising and eating healthy. So
Yeah.
it's something as humans. That's why we need each other to support each other. So if you've got a friend that
Absolutely.
is spiraling down, like, you start walking every day, or you get a dog to walk, or you have a friend to meditate with, or you go on the Feast for the Soul and you have a bunch of people to meditate with. Like
Hmm.
there is a lot of help out there. That's the thing, is that, what we offer here, is it's all free that we do it for. We do it as a service to people, to our clients, to our friends, and just because we love to spend time together and share. But there's so much wonderful information about all the things that we talk about out there. And so
Yeah.
education is really powerful. So I do want to go back, because I know we're coming down on time, to how we started off, or how I started off with the Deepak talking about how your body's cells regenerate. So you do have a new body. I know, Eddi, I don't know what, but you do have a new body every 7 months. Like all your
Yes.
cells you actually have a brand new body. You have new skin. Your skin is shedding all the time. Your eye, like the body's amazing. It's constantly regenerating and renewing your cells. But the reason why, then you would think, well, why do we have dis-ease, and why do we have even aging in our bodies? And that's because we have cellular memory. And so when a cell starts to break down, when it's new, it comes back. The disease cell does come back when it's renewed. So we want to break that cycle when at the cellular level, with the renewing, with a lot of these things that we're talking about, with cleansing at the cellular level, with eating, so, nutrient dense foods, and really getting that. And that's what we talked about the tortoise, that their diseased cells just, they explode, and so they don't even have to eat the right foods, although they're probably eating kelp all day anyway. So,
They eat cabbages and greens. Have you ever watched a tortoise eat?
and very
It's like,
slowly, and chewing his food thousands of times.
yeah, which means when you chew your food, we're supposed to chew each bite 21 times. And that releases a bunch of amylase from your saliva. And by the time you swallow it, it's digested.
Yeah,
Isn't that beautiful? And, but no, no, nobody does that except a tortoise, of
yeah.
course.
And they don't have cancer, and they live a very long time. Most of them live till they're well over 100. And
Yes. And we study, when you look at the blue zones and the peeps that live to be 100 and beyond, How to Live to Be 100 is on Netflix, the blue zones. It's fabulous when every group has a similar background. It's the foods, how they live, the rest in the afternoon, connection, you
movement.
know, purpose, living off the land, just a lot of ease in their lives, which
Mhm.
that's our practice. We have to find the ease and not the dis-ease.
Yeah.
Less delay, if ever. And those that have dealt with disease, maybe finding more ease. In my work, I've seen a lot of people undo a lot of damage, and it's absolutely amazing. It's never too late, you know.
Yeah, the body, the ability to regenerate and heal. I mean, you
Yeah,
just look at when
it's
you get a cut,
miraculous.
how magical it is that the cut heals, and that's happening inside your body
Mm,
way even thousands of times, like all the time
yeah.
with
I
everybody.
I love when I work with people who've been diagnosed cancer. We talk mostly about the quality of life, what's important to them. And it's interesting that a lot want to change how they're eating. And I'm still, after 30 some odd years, I'm still amazed at what's happening, how miraculous the body is. So, there's a lot out there. You just got to give it a try and try different things, and yeah, don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, and help your body. It's doing miraculous things every second of the day. And just give it just needs a little bit of help. I say that about yoga. It's like, you don't need to do yoga 2 hours a day. You don't need to meditate 2 hours a day. You don't need to eat raw foods, organic, like every day, all day. It's just, you need to help it a little bit. And like Eddi said, the 70-30 rule, and just a little bit for me, it's like a little bit of yoga, a little bit of meditation, connecting with friends, and just having a balanced life is one of the best ways that you can, not guarantee, because nobody's guaranteed or anything, but that at least something that you have control over, of aging in a healthy way and being healthy for your children, your grandchildren, your friends, so that you can be a wise woman, wise man, wise person for the younger people to admire, and that you can teach them how to look after themselves, like you can be a poster child.
Yes. Yes, that's what we're trying to be. Okay.
I love listening to you, Ed. You always have on these health talks. I always get little tidbits more, even though I've known you for so long and gotten tidbits my whole life. I still, get something new every time. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, as always.
Oh, and the same back at you. And I'm never surprised at what you come back when I take the look of deers in the headlight. Is just my brain is thinking up some things, and I'm trying to retrieve something, but I don't want to be inaccurate.
Yes, you do. That's why I do check with you. But this is
Yeah.
something I was pretty sure about, the whole your body is new every 7 months, because I've not from Deepak, but I've read it many times, that the cellular level, which I think is pretty darn amazing.
Yeah,
But
well, look at when you cut yourself, how quick it repairs, or not so quick. So that's a sign right there for people. If your cut heals really fast, look at how amazing that is. You just cut yourself. Look at what happened to you, and we just pushed it together, and it knit back together, and we
it was
didn't need
amazing. You were
stitches.
surprised at
We
how
should have.
fast it was. Yeah. And well, it was having you there to hold it together right away.
But the body knew what to do, right? We just gotta stay calm and find the ease, and yeah, there we go. Beautiful talk.
Self-care. Thank you, Ed. I love you. Talk
Love
to you
you.
next time. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. We love you all.